Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Literary Lord. As discussed and as planned, today we're going to be discussing another poetry from the Class 9 syllabus called The Bangle Sellers, written by Sarojini Naidu, the Nightingale of India. Now, as we've seen Sarojini Naidu in her poetry, she has tried to show us the Indian culture in her poetries, just like in the bazaars of Hyderabad. There's a very great example of it. Just like that, there's bangle sellers, right? Now, this poetry, now talking about the bangle sellers, so this poetry, it shows us the Indian culture revolving around women. You know, the different stages of life of a woman when she is young. She's got lots of desires, dreams, goals, and plans, and she's so innocent. And then when she grows up, she's married, and there are lots of emotions, sadness of leaving her home, her parents, and excitement and a bit happiness of meeting her husband, a new family, and starting a new life. So it's a mixture of it, right? And then when she becomes a woman of a middle-aged woman, you know, a perfect housewife, has grown up her children very carefully, with full of love, care, and affection, who's very much obeying to her husband and cares for her family. So all of these things you can just have a detailed, I would say, a detailed glimpse of all of these things. There's different stages of life of a woman in this poetry, the bangle sellers. Because why the bangle sellers? Why this name? Because in India, the bangles, they have got a great importance for in a woman's life, right? You know, no matter what their age is, if they're young or they're adult or they're older ones, bangles, they all wear bangles. It's a very important thing, and the colors of bangle, they vary upon their stages of life. If they're young, it's bright, vibrant green and blue and all of that stuff. When they're married, it's yellow, red, and all decent. And when they get old, there are gold ones and the purple ones, the gray ones. So it shows us these bangles, if you just look at them, look at around yourself, it shows the different stages of a woman, like what they're feeling, what they're going through, and what they're like. Like how they are, and all of that stuff. So now I'm really excited about starting this poetry, because this poetry is not just amazing by showing the Indian culture, but the rhythmic scheme of this poetry is so much amazing. Like if you see it, if you read it, if it'll be like a song, but if you try to understand it, it'll be like an ocean. But don't worry, you'll not drown into it, because you'll feel the waves. So let's just begin it up. Here we are, the bangle sellers, Sarojini Naidu. Bangle sellers are we who bear our shining loads to the temple fair. Who will buy these delicate, bright, rainbow-tainted circles of light? For a lustrous token of radiant lives, for happy daughters and happy wives. Now this is the very first stanza. The speaker has introduced herself as a bangle seller. They're saying a bangle seller, we are the bangle sellers. We are the bangle sellers. We have got lots of shining, rainbow-tainted, vibrant bangles, and there's a fair around around the temple. They're all there. As we see in India, what happens in the fair after the temples and in front of the temples, outside the temples, we see there are a lot of people selling lots of things, and one of the important things is that the bangles. So they are all there. As they say that we are the bangle sellers. We're selling all of these shining bangles. Who wants these bright rainbow tainted circles of light? It's just a way to show how shining and how vibrant and how bright these bangles are, how eye-catching these bangles are. A lustrous token of radiant lives for happy daughters and happy wives. And obviously, it'll make the daughters and wives happy, and it's just it's a moment of, it's a sign of happiness. It shows happiness. You wearing bangles, it shows happiness. You see, at the moments of sadness and tragic things when they happen, people don't used to wear, the women, they don't used to wear the bangles, right? In those particular moments. But in the moments of festivals, you know, great occasions of happiness, they do wear bangles, and even colorful, bright, vibrant bangles. So this is the first stanza, and moving on towards the second stanza. Some are meet for a maiden's wrist, silver and blue as the mountain mist. Some are flushed like the buds that dream on the tranquil brow of a woodland stream. Some are aglow with the bloom that cleave to the limpid glory of newborn leaves. Now, as I told you earlier, this is in the second stanza, the very beginning stage of a woman is being showed when she is young and she's unmarried. You know, some are meet for a maiden's wrist. It's like some are made for a maiden's wrist. Maiden's wrist is a young woman, a young unmarried woman. So some are made for them. For them, there are bright colors, green and blue, like a mountain mist. There's buds that dream. Now, it's again representing a young woman, who dreams. Because obviously, these are the qualities, a young woman who's unmarried. She's got a lot of dreams. They've got a lot of desires and hopes and goals and plans and questions. How it's gonna be, how my future life's gonna be, how my fiance is gonna be, how my in-laws are gonna be, and then everything, like not just regarded with your marriage, but how my future life is gonna be, how my job is gonna be, or how my career is gonna be, or how I am gonna be in my life. So there are a lot of questions. It's irrespective of gender, but generally talking about the women, they have got a lot of emotions. So it's like that, a buzz that dream. And now for them, there are the bangles for them are of blue color, like a mountain mist. They are silver, they are green. And how the poetess is describing them, like a mountain mist, and like the small flowers, the tranquil brow of a woodland stream, the small flowers which are beside the streams. It's so romantic. It's so natural. You just see the way she's describing it. It's not just the description of the bangles, but the description of the feelings of a woman of at that age. All right. So it's not just that, but that too. The feelings too, not just the bangles. Obviously, the bangles are the reflection of your feelings. When you're young, you've got a lot of desires. You will wear very much vibrant, very much colorful and eye-catching bangles like blue, green, and all of that, and silver. So this is the stanza which is talking about a young unmarried woman. Some are meet for a maiden's wrist, silver and blue as the mountain mist, the blue. Some are flushed like the buds that dream. All those, therefore, the young woman have got a lot of dreams. On the tranquil brow of a woodland stream, the small flowers, placed beside the streams, some are aglow with the bloom, the cleave, to the limpid glory, or to the transparent glory of newborn leaves. So it again shows that these young women not having a lot of experiences, but having a lot of emotions. It totally reflects these bangles, these colors of bangles and their style. It just reflects the feelings. In fact, the poetess is trying to tell us their feelings, the women of that age. Now moving on towards the third stanza. Some are like fields of sunlit corn, meet for a bride on a bridal morn. Some like the flame of a marriage fire, or rich with the hue of her heart's desire, tinkling, luminous, tender and clear, like her bridal laughter and bridal tear. Now the woman has grown up. Now she has just got married. So now what sort of bangles she's gonna wear? Or in other words, we could say what sort of feelings she's gonna have in her heart, because bangles, they're just reflection of the feeling. Some are like fields of sunlit corn. Now for them, those newly wedded brides, there are yellow colored bangles, yellow like a sunlight, like the rays of the sun. Why? And because these colors are the decent ones. Some are red, like the flame of a marriage fire and her heart's desire. Because you see, this yellow and red, they're decent, and they show a lot of emotions as well. Red is very deep with emotions, with romance and desires and excitements as well. So these colors for them are rich with the hue of her heart's desire, tinkling, luminous, tender and clear, like a bridal laughter and bridal tear. Now, as I said, that red is very deep with emotions, and there's a stage of a woman is also having lots and lots of emotions, or I should say, their emotions are at the top of the mountain at this stage of their life, because some lots of things are happening. Just look at it. They are sad because they have just left their parents behind. They have left their family, all the old relations. They're excited as well because they're gonna make some. They're gonna have a new family. They're gonna have a husband. And later on in the life, they're gonna have children. They're gonna grow up. So there's a lot of excitement about their in-laws and the husband, and sorrow for leaving the older relations, mama, dads, and all the family. So the emotions are at the top of the mountain. The bangles, these colors of the bangles, and how the description of the bangles: yellow like a sunlit corn, red like the flame of a marriage fire, and her heart's desire, tinkling, luminous, tender and clear. It's just representing not just the colors and the vibrancy, or the qualities of the bangles, but also the feeling of a woman at that age. With this, we end up with the third stanza. Now coming on to the fourth and the last stanza. Some are purple and gold flecked gray, for she who has journeyed through life midway, whose hands have cherished, whose love has blessed, and cradled fair sons on her faithful breast, and serves her household in fruitful pride, and worships the gods at her husband's side. The fourth and the last stanza. Now the woman is of a middle age. Now the poetess was showing herself as a bangle seller, now describing the bangles for those women who are of middle age, who are married, middle age. They have grown up their children with full of love, care, and affection, and are a perfect example of a housewife, just obeying their husbands and caring their family. So these purple and gold bangles are for them. They're decent, and the gold like an ornament, like a great ornament, or like great something, a bit more precious jewelry. Gold, flecked gray, and even gold flecked gray. So, starting it all again, some are purple and gold flecked gray, for she who has journeyed through life midway. Now, she who has journeyed her life, more than the half of the life, midway. Now, she is middle aged. She is married. She has grown up her children with all that was love, care, and affection. Now, whose hands have cherished, whose love has blessed, whose hands have cherished with all those beauties and bounties of life, of taking your children in your arms, the newly born children. So those hands have cherished. It's a blessing to have children. So you have hold that blessing, maybe once or twice, I don't know. Whose love has blessed, and whose love has been a blessing. A mother's love is a blessing, obviously. Having a children is also a blessing, and having the love of your parents, obviously, that is also a blessing. So whose hands have been cherished with a blessing, and whose love has blessed, and cradled fair sons on her faithful breast, and she has cradle means holding gently and protectively. So who has protectively holding her fair sons and a faithful breast. It means it means like hugging them and putting them closer to your breast, which means who has cared their children and grown them up with love and affection, and the warmth of a mother, and serves her household in fruitful pride, serves her household, the whole family, and worships the gods at her husband's side. And worships gods at her husband's side. It all shows that stage of a woman. Again, it's not about the bangle. It's about that stage of a woman. It's about her feelings. They're of middle. Okay, yeah. Here we are. So Now there are certain things I would like to tell you, like and cradled fair sons. Now it can be a beautiful coincidence, but this also shows the word sons and worships the gods at her husband's side. All this shows the male dominance, we could say, at that time in the Indian society, which shows the preference to the males, the sons over the daughters, and that sort of a thing, which was there at that time. So the poetess had tried to show us that too. So some are purple and gold flecked grey, for she who has journeyed through life midway, whose hands have cherished, whose love has blessed, and cradled fair sons on her faithful breast, and serves her household in fruitful pride, and worships God at her husband's side. With this, we end up this whole poetry, the Bangle Sellers. Last but not the least, I would like to tell you once again that this poetry was not actually about the bangles. It was about the Indian culture and the stages of a woman, how they used to live, especially talking about India, when they're young, too much of dreams and desires. When they're just married, the emotions are at the top of the mountain. Their sadness, their happiness, their excitements, their even the feeling of sorrow as well. And then when they're of middle age, they're the perfect housewives, who have cared their sons, who care their family, and who obey their husbands. So all of these things, it's not just about the bangles, but actually about the woman and their stages of life. Maybe with a shield of bangles, maybe. So with this, we have completed this another poetry from the class 9 syllabus. Stay tuned for some upcoming more videos and another poetries from the class 9 syllabus, and then from the class 10th one, and so on. So thank you so much. Hope this video is gonna be really helpful for you, and thank you so much. And yeah, I love you.